Hey guys. Alright, so for this video I would like to talk about a topic. It's gonna be a little all over the place-ish for, it's not gonna be out here and out here, but it's gonna be kind of coming out and going back in, because all these things kind of relate to each other. So I'll just call it simultaneous simultaneous existences. Whatever, I'll just get into it, okay? So I want to explain like sort of the realm dynamics here, the reality dynamics, the fundamental truths, at least the way I've come to experience and understand them. You have a physical brain, which I'll call your mortal mind. It is going to succumb to entropy one day, just like everything physical will. And then you have your awareness, your immortal mind that is going to survive death and whatever you want to call death. And it is also projecting to you frequencies that you pick up in your mind, right? It's guiding you through your mind and your heart through its being you and being everything else. It is projecting feelings, and through those feelings you actually get symbols in your head, if that makes sense. So if being in some certain car is something you're excited about, you get the excitement first, almost, or maybe even at the same exact time, but I'd say you have to get the excitement first, or the feeling first, and then you symbolize it with something. You don't really know that because your physical mind kind of runs the show here for the time being for most people, but what comes first through the creator is that feeling. If you say, what would really make me happy? Boom, that feeling of what happiness is as you know it, that thought, that small space between that feeling, that thought, and what you're using to symbolize that is the essence of this one intelligence, this one source, this creative awareness that we all are. It is constantly projecting to you, right? Through your heart, through feelings, right? And this is why when you do something that you don't like, or you let yourself down, or you do something like that you know is wrong, it feels bad, it hurts. Because that's this source kind of sending you these frequencies that this path is not gonna be your best option. And I don't know how else to tell you that, because if somebody isn't actually thinking that there's this invisible source projecting frequencies to their heart to give them these feelings called an emotional kind of guidance system, if somebody doesn't know that, it's fine, because they'll just know, I don't want to feel bad, so I should probably do things that make me feel good, right? Well, most people think that way. Some people really just never get it. It's a lifelong lesson of learning these things. And then they get sick, and then they get cancer, and then, there's just all these little things that try to warn them, and then it just keeps getting progressively worse as they block out the communication or they ignore it, which is what cancer pretty much is, right? So as above, so below, which also to me is macro, micro, right? So if you're ignoring this communication here, then your body is going to reflect that somehow by maybe your cells stopping or not being able to communicate, right? And then you start getting these blockages and ailments, and they're kind of like warnings. And the more you keep ignoring whatever it is in your life that isn't serving you, then the worse the ailment becomes. And the moment you fix it or change, it goes away. There's no physical condition that cannot be healed in the body. It's all a reflection. It all starts in an etheric realm first, and then it's reflected here. This is the reflection of your choices, of your deeds, of your thoughts, right? This is the reflection right here. So anything happening here is just a reflection of something that's already taking place in the etheric realm. So anytime, like when people get diagnosed with cancer and it's like malignant and they're going to have so much time to live, and all of a sudden they pack up everything and they're going to start living life the way they want now, and they move to some island, maybe Hawaii, or they move to some dream location and they plan on just really doing what they want to do for the rest of the time they have here. And then all of a sudden they don't die and they go back in and, hey doc, it's been 10 months and I'm still here. I feel great actually. What's going on? Well, that cancer just disappeared. I don't know. It must be a miracle. No. You started listening to your higher self, to your immortal mind. You shut off the physical mind, which tries to run the show. I need money. I need drugs. I need sex. Don't wake up, or don't have the soul come to life and stop me. I don't want the parents to come home and actually put me in my place where I should be. I want to run the show from here. So keep slave laboring at this desk because you need that money for some reason, or the only way you can have this experience is through money, and you're lacking money, so you better keep staying here and paying your mind and your attention to this dream of somebody else's who wants you to produce an outcome for them so you can get this income that you have convinced yourself that you need. And all of a sudden, you keep going to work over and over and over again, knowing that it doesn't serve you, knowing that you don't like it, knowing that there's something completely wrong with it and it's just driving you crazy. Either you're stressed out about it, either you're always upset, or you don't get along with your boss. I mean, this is just one example, but it starts with whenever you feel bad about something, that's the original, go to that with integrity and figure out what it is. But eventually it gets all the way down to, oh shit, I got cancer in my whatever, and it's because you are ignoring yourself. So important to know that you're never supposed to feel bad. Nothing bad is ever supposed to happen. You're never supposed to get sick. You're never supposed to be upset or in pain. This can be heaven, yo. You just have to believe it and start creating it. So also, let's get back into the dynamics. So the reality. So you have these picture frames, like a motion picture. Anytime you see motion, it's an illusion. They're just a whole bunch of individual parallel realities, which are completely different realities. You're a completely different person, a completely different version of you, even if it's just by one tiny little subatomic particle. Subatomic particle. So, simultaneously, everything is happening right now in this one moment. Everything. Every possible anything. Every single moment that ever will and is and could happen is happening right now. Period. You are tuned in and aware of the version of yourself in this reality that you have shifted into based on your following your desires, seemingly following your heart, tuning in, and whatever it is that you have been doing, whatever it is that you have been achieving is what if you don't understand what I'm saying, okay, so let's say that there's two versions of me right now. One of them that's been going to the gym for the last year, and another one that hasn't, literally. The reason I'm in tune with the version of me that hasn't been going to the gym for a year, or that hasn't been going right, is because I haven't been. So that's who I am. This is what I'm aware of right now. That doesn't mean that the version of me that's been going to the gym for the last year isn't still there, because I can honestly, if I can think about it, if I can picture it, then that's a real reality. No different than remembering myself being in the gym 4 years ago, going all the time. If I can tune into the past version of me, that's no different than tuning into the future version of me. They're both just different realities, different parallel realities, right? So that version of me is still happening. Remember, like I said, guys, it's all happening at the same moment. But the reason I'm aware of this version of me is because this is the version of me that I am. If I'd been going to the gym for a year, then you'd be talking to a guy that looked completely different, that maybe sounded different, had different things to say, different experiences, and you wouldn't be talking to this version of me. Makes sense? So, even for, like, let's say you're growing your hair out, or me. for me to say, hey, I think I'd like long hair. That thought, remember, I don't know if I already said this, but that thought, that feeling, right before saying me with long hair, that's the creator coming in with the feelings, right? That's that source. Then the symbol I project onto my happiness is I think I'd be happy with longer hair. So I'm literally tuning into, or we'll say remote viewing, a parallel reality where I already have long hair. To most of us, we would just assume this was just a thought, and that once we had long hair, if we ever did, by not cutting it, once I grew it out, then that would be a real reality. But no, it's not the actual physical taking place of. That's all secondary. Remember, everything is happening through thought, then the reality allows the physical happening of it to happen secondary. So I first have to tune into a version of me with long hair that already exists. And then once I shift to that reality based on my actions, which would be not cutting my hair time and time and time and time again, each one of those snapshots, every single moment, my hair would be a little bit longer. It's not actually growing. It's just me becoming aware of that version of me with longer hair. And all the versions exist right now with every single hair length possible. They all exist on different parallel realities. And that's why it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around this, guys. It's kind of mind-boggling. It's crazy, I know. But they all exist right now. So I'm telling you guys this so you can believe more in your projections. When I say, like in all my other videos, think of what it is that truly makes you happy in your heart. And as long as you hold that joy, as long as you only focus on all the amazing things and feelings that this experience that you're thinking of in a future brings you, then the reality has no choice but to guide you through your heart, line up paths, and bring you opportunities to become aware of the version of you, not the version of you that gets to that point, but the version of you that already is in that moment. That is like a still shot out there of that already happening. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to think of it. So for me, that would make me believe in my creations or my imagination so much more, to know that there's actually a snapshot of that already out there, and the thought of it is actually what means it's real, because the thought of it means I'm tuning into a frequency of it, which means that it has already taken place. There's nothing new under the sun. You've heard that before. Meaning everything is here and now, and you just need to listen to your heart in order to get to that version or to get to that experience. Just listen to your heart. And do not project anything from your heart besides what you want the reality to give you. Because how you're feeling, you're God. You are the creative force. You are the creative driving mechanism here. And the reality doesn't listen to your words. It doesn't listen to your thoughts. It listens to your heart, right? Your heart has special cells in it, almost like it's its own brain. Your heart is the first organ that develops, and everything else grows off of it. And your heart is what you feel when you're in love. It's what you feel when you're laughing. It's what you feel when you're sad. You can feel it all right here. It doesn't necessarily mean your physical heart that's beating, but this is the area where you feel that awareness. And it is the most legendary guidance system you could ever have, and it's so simple to just follow. And you guys know that there's that voice in you, and it's not really talking like this. It's more like, don't steal that, because you could get in a lot of trouble. But it comes more as a feeling than an actual phrase. And then you make that feeling into a phrase based on what that feeling symbolizes to you. So again, that is the creator. That is your ultimate, infinite, immortal aspect coming through, and it's all right now instantaneous. Instantly. gives you exactly what you need to know at every moment, and you just have to follow your joy. It is the universal guide map to the best life you could possibly have. You will meet who you're supposed to meet when you're supposed to meet them. You will be in the place you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. The right doors will open, the right magic will happen, and everything will start laying itself out as a red carpet rolls out in front of you. Not because you are some egotistical maniac, but because none of this is valuable. None of it's valuable. It's all, you honor all of it, but you don't give any of it value, because then you're creating a dualistic concept by saying this is valuable and this is not. They're all just experiences that are equally valid, equally important, equal expressions. Doesn't matter if one is lack and depression and one is excitement and abundance. They're both. Okay, sorry guys, I was trying to get that all on my phone, but ran out of memory, so I just save it to the old USB scan disk and proceed on. So I was talking about not giving anything value, not based on the fact that it's not valuable, because everything is either completely equal in value, or the easiest way for me to do that is to devalue everything, and that makes me not owed anything, but it makes me become worthy of anything. And what I'm saying is, your dreams, guys, don't limit yourself, right? Don't say, I can never experience this because I lack this, because that is exactly what will happen. But if you just think of how excited you are about that, what you want, where you see yourself, no matter what it is, as long as you can feel it in your heart, as long as there's substance there, then that means it's actually something, it's actually you picturing or picking up that frequency of that parallel reality where you are already in that experience. And it really is funny because the law of attraction, right, the way it works, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are at all. It doesn't matter, because the reality supersedes all circumstances. Circumstances are a result of this intelligence that kind of runs the show and governs everything in a sense. I mean, you still have your own choices to make and your own free will, but as far as coincidences and paths lining up and things working out for you, there's infinite ways for that to happen. And if it comes down to you having to hit the lottery one day, even though you don't even play the lottery, someone just comes out and hands you a ticket because they said, you know what, I feel like it's your lucky day, not mine. Take this ticket, and then you win. I mean, that's what I mean, guys. But it's not valuable, right? All the money in the world, it's all just a tool for an experience. And as long as you can keep that mentality, then you'll always be worthy. And there's nothing wrong with experiencing the creation to the fullest. There's nothing wrong with that, guys. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just what you're designed to do. Why you came here to begin with. As a creator. As an aspect of the infinite one intelligence. The reason that it has to express itself through all these people and these new incarnations, through new souls coming into the planet, is because its expressions are infinite. There is no limit to the expression. It is infinite, because that is the nature of this source, right? And you have a small piece of that inside of you. But that small piece is just as we here have these definitions and terms and ideas that we think that because something is smaller, or if it's just a fraction of something, that it is not as great or as awesome or as, powerful. But we're talking about realm dynamics as far as what the creator and how the reality experiences or sees things that we define, or how we see them in 3D reality here with our mental and our mortal mind sees things as a lot more programmed, a lot more set in stone of how things are. We kind of lose that magic, which is what we truly are when we first come here. That's why when we're kids, we might be having conversations with invisible beings that aren't even there or are there. We are constantly using our imaginations to create every experience as a very fun, exciting, anything we need it to be as a kid, we can change it in our mind and really believe it and really play with that. Because when we first incarnate here, we are the closest to this source that we maybe for most of us ever will be. Because as we come into this adolescence and then young adult and then adult, we start taking these beliefs and ideas, subscribing to them, and wanting to just kind of play that role because everyone else is, right? Wanting to buy into the whole money construct that we all have running in our heads, that if we have money, then we'll be able to do what we want. And if we don't have money, then there's certain things that we're going to have to go without and lack. Come on, guys. Seriously, like, there is no experience here that is made up of anything else besides Earth. Nothing. The window behind those curtains is just sand, right? The table's just wood. Money's just wood. The paper's just wood. The metal is just mined out of the ground. It's all Earth. It's all just one big chunk of Earth providing you with experiences. And you, as this amazing creator, as this source of consciousness, as this piece of the infinite one love, the one all, the one awareness that pervades everything, you get to pick what you experience. You get to decide your thoughts. You get to decide how you're going to react to things, right? But once somebody sits down and reflects to you and reminds you through my reflection, because I'm you, you're me, I know exactly what somebody out there needs to hear, because somebody who watches this is going to hear it and it's going to be helpful to them, because I'm tuning in to that aspect that we both have in common, which knows you and me intimately, which knows I know how to channel this, which isn't something I actually know how to do, it's just something I do and I'm aware of, because we're all doing it. Anytime you're talking, thinking, anything you're doing, it's coming from that source and coming through your filters, tuning into it through your mind. You're feeling it in your heart to know what it means to you, whether you want to do it or say it or be it, or you're symbolizing it in your head like, oh man, wouldn't it be so great if, and then that is the creator, that is that source coming to you, giving you that feeling of it would be so great. Boom, there's the feeling of greatness if I hit the lottery. And then there's your money symbol for I can't feel great until I have this symbol. And that's what we're trying to get away from, guys. Like, I could be watching a commercial on TV and be like, oh man, even though TV is whack, I can't even watch TV anymore. Like, just mindless. I don't even know how it's just so scripted and so predictable and so ungrowthful. It's almost like I'm watching it, and this source, which I know I'm part of too, it also guides me through my heart, right? So if I'm doing something that isn't productive, that isn't making me grow towards, because I've already put my intention out there, or a lot of intentions actually, I want to be as God self-aware as possible. So anything that doesn't equal me becoming more, me doing more to feel more oneness, to feel more clarity, to feel more connection, right? If it doesn't equal that, then it's not going to be entertaining to me. It's not going to be exciting, right? And I know that. So I just don't do things. I don't force things. I don't get bored. So I have to I don't do things. Okay, another hiccup of doing everything on the phone, guys. I do all the editing. I do everything from my phone. I don't have a laptop or a computer. So anyway, what I was saying in the last video before the memory ran out and I had to transfer it again. I can't just leave this in there and have it record on this. I gotta actually do it every time my internal storage runs out. So anyway, I was saying that I was talking about getting bored, whatever. I don't do things because I'm bored. Like, I don't get stimulated by outside sources. That's reacting. That's just a reactive, like, that's how I used to be. Oh, I'm bored, I'm gonna go eat. Oh, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm gonna watch TV. Oh, nothing's on, man, this sucks. No, that's not how I am anymore. Okay, let's say that I do have free time, that I'm not doing anything, and I can actually be quiet and have some time to myself, which most people don't even give themselves a half hour a day, just to themselves, to do what they want, to get in tune with their star player. I'll shut my eyes. Some call this meditation. I call this, I don't know, I don't really label things, but I would call this like a touching base with your higher self, in other words. I'd call it that. And I just shut my eyes, and I don't do anything from up here, all from down here. And I don't think of something I'm grateful for. I don't think of something I love. I don't think of anything, because that's this. But I can still embody the feeling of gratitude. I can embody the feeling of compassion. I can embody the feeling of loving something and being loved. And as I do that, I can feel this presence inside me from right here I'll say bigger, get more realized, and then it's almost like you can sink into those feelings. Like you should just first start off by feeling gratitude, what that feels like, right? And you feel how that changes into love, and then you feel how that transforms into like a compassion, and then you realize that those all are kind of the same one feeling, and that feeling starts to grow. And that's because you are shutting down the more the brain, the self that has these strategies, and it's strategizing how to have more fun or be more entertained, or strategizing what it can eat to be stimulating this chemical process that it's always trying to get. I mean, the brain, the physical brain and the body are just like gangsters on this like soul aspect. I mean, they both love their selfishness, their addictions, their all their them. Go eat a Big Mac for me. Go take some Percocet. Go drink some alcohol. It feels so great to be out of my mind because I'm the brain and I don't care. I just want to have a bunch of chemicals inside me, and whatever it takes to have those chemicals come in, I'll do it. And it doesn't matter to the brain what's causing the chemicals to be released is the thing. You are you're the one that knows why it's releasing those chemicals, and you're the one that has to make those choices, whether or not it's releasing those chemicals because you really deserve it, right? And if it's so, and you do deserve it, then it will be released in a natural, balanced way. You will receive those pleasure chemicals, like when you graduate college, it feels good, and you get a balanced feeling of wellness from accomplishing something that's putting you closer to that vision and that feeling that you're excited about. So, when we're using drugs and we're artificially stimulating the mind and creating these feel-good chemicals, the brain doesn't know the difference. It just knows it's getting them, and it's going to keep giving you that right-on signal, which is addiction. And anyway, back to what I was talking about. So if I do have time to be bored, I will get quiet, and I will come out of this human communication and go into like a universal communication where I communicate with feeling, with heart, because that's how this source communicates with us, and that's how we communicate with it. We don't say I love you. We just embody the feeling of love because it is us. It is experiencing what we are experiencing. So when we feel love, it feels love. Just like if you're a parent and your kid does something and your kid genuinely feels like they discovered something, or they're very proud of themselves, or they are super excited because they did something, and you just feel that with them and you're so proud, but at the same time it almost inspires you a little bit because you know what that's doing to them on the inside. You know how that's shaping and forming them, and how that's making them that much better of a person, and you're so proud of them for discovering and sticking with something enough to feel that. And it's almost like you're a part of it with them. You feel it with them. And that's what's going on here. It's expressing on that leading edge of consciousness, but it's feeling through us, literally what we're feeling, as long as it's in line with what it is. Like if you're feeling some sort of selfish desire, or you're feeling hate, or you're out of your mind drunk, you're not going to be really communicating much with that aspect of you, because it sort of takes a side seat there. It's like, yo, I told you not to speed in the car because it's dangerous, but I know you're free to do whatever you want to do, so I'm just going to get out of the car while you're speeding, and then when you slow down and want to follow the law, I'll get back in. Basically kind of like that. And I'll just get quiet, and I'll just start embodying that feeling, not up here, just that feeling, that strong, unshakable, just the most real feeling you can have is just that gratitude, that unselfish desire to do anything for anybody at any time just to make them happy. And you can embody that compassion, you can embody that gratitude, you can embody that, and it all comes into this heart structure as this loving feeling. And as you embody that feeling and hold on to it, you're inviting that source into you, and it just starts pouring in. And before you know it, like, you're just content as fuck. You're just, and it feels good to not think. It feels good to just feel that bliss, that knowing that you are it and it is you, and you are unstoppable. You're unstoppable. You're unshakable. You can't die. You can't kill anyone. You can't make a wrong turn. You can't not be connected. You can't not be guided. You have your whole life ahead of you. All you have to do is listen to your heart and your excitement and your joy to bring those amazing visions you created to life. I mean, come on, guys. Anyway, this is getting ridiculously long, and anyway, yeah, if I'm bored, I'll just tune into Source, and that's how I do it. I'm glad I could share that with you guys, and I'm going to stop this and edit and upload before it gets up to an hour. I think it's probably close to a little over 30 minutes maybe. Gonna be my longest video yet for sure. So anyway, have a nice night, have a nice morning, have a nice afternoon, whatever it is when you're watching this, guys. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll get some more high energy stuff out. I'm just I want to show that I'm not just this goof off character. I have this side of me that's very, not serious, but I don't know, just a side of me that people might need to see, because the symbol for them that someone is enlightened or they can learn something from someone is maybe this more serious guy. But no, it helps things flow. It helps me pay attention. It helps me get good information going. Sometimes, it's just another expression of who I am. So have a great one, guys. I'm out.